Moving on its road to reduce mobility emissions, Egypt has opened its doors to two new Chinese electric vehicles. Dongfang's E70 Pro and Geely's Geometry C offer a driving range from 400 to 550 kilometers per full charge. Their prices range from $29,000 to $39,000.
There's a shortage in petrol cars in Egypt. Their prices are so high up that the difference with EVs is no longer significant. Many people are turning to electric cars. They are increasing exponentially. In 2015, there were only 3 or 4 cars in Egypt. Today, we have more than 11,000 electric vehicles.
A firm believer in the advantages offered by electric vehicles, Mustafa Bekir sold all his petrol cars and bought an electric car. He says his experience has so far been great, with exception to long-distance travel.
My experience with EVs doesn't have any issues. The only challenge in Egypt is when traveling. We must have a mandatory break for half an hour to charge the car. I can have a coffee, then hit the road. Intracity movement has no issues at all. There are charging stations everywhere in Cairo.
Now we have more than 300 charging stations all over Egypt. We have all the main highways equipped with fast chargers. I'm a user for electric vehicles for 7 years. Now I can use any highway, I can go any destination I want, except for Sharm Sheikh and North Egypt.
Due to the high global demand on Chinese electric vehicles, Geely Egypt says their current sales target has a ceiling of 1,000 cars annually. They plan to raise sales to a couple thousand EVs next year. Meanwhile, they're moving fast to establish an assembly plant in Egypt.
We have the plans for the coming future to have our CKD plant, our CKD operation, that we will assemble the electric vehicles on the coming future to introduce to the market with much bigger volume. And the Egyptian market can accommodate this volume and even more, because the trend now is moving toward the EV. If we compare between the petrol engines and the electric cars, you can save up to 75% of the running cost.
When completed, the Geely EV's assembly plant should produce up to 20,000 vehicles annually. During the past 3 years, the number of electric vehicles in Egypt jumped from 2,000 to more than 11,000.
As the EVs market in Egypt looks extremely promising, car producers are rushing to establish domestic production lines. They're calling on the government to waive customs on all parts and materials required for manufacturing, as it does for imported electric vehicles. Pricing remains one of the biggest challenges still facing EVs. With a tag of at least $20,000, they're still far from becoming a popular mode of transportation in Egypt. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.